Hello, Mixed Nutcases. This is Nuke Chess, and this is a quickie dinner and a movie. This is not part of the dog days of podcasting. This is just part of the regular Nutty Bites feed, but it is a bonus episode, so I don't think I'm going to number this. I'm just going to... I don't know if I'll number this. We'll see. I'll decide that after I finish recording. There was a show that I was watching during Dog Days that I was hoping to do an episode on simply because it was very intriguing, but I wanted to get to the end of at least season 1 to do an episode. And now that I've gotten to the end of season 1, I think I might do an episode per season just because it is going to be a different story for season 2, I believe. Why Women Kill. I have this on Amazon Prime. I believe it was originally, according to this website I'm on, it says it was originally on CBS All Access. I have no idea where that would have been in Canada, and that in 2021 it went to Paramount Plus, and maybe that's why I'm getting it, because I've got the Paramount on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure, but it came up in my feed. Really what happened was I saw a clip from it on Instagram, and it was actually from pretty late in season 1. So I was really interested and didn't know where in the series it was, but I was really interested and people were talking about it. I said, okay, I've got to go check this out. I've got to see what's going on here. And I jumped in and found it and was really excited. And there's something about it that is intriguing. So we're following 3 women, each from a different time era, who reside all in the same mansion in Pasadena. They all learn of their respective husbands' infidelity, I'll say. It really does kind of... it's not exactly infidelity for all of them, let's just say. But it is definitely having, there is that lover component and things like that. And you're following them along until you get to the point where they find that, murder is just justifiable. This just makes sense. And each one of them, the motivations are very different. And you have a different idea of what's going to happen. And at the beginning of the series, so there's 3 time periods. There's 1963, and that is basically, I think the standout there is Ginnifer Goodwin. And she is a 1960s subservient housewife and doing everything perfect, exactly the way her husband likes. And that's exactly what he wants. But he is, he is a cheater, and he's constantly cheating on her. And she discovers this and decides to befriend the mistress, and things continue. So it starts out and you think, okay, this is going to be pretty clear cut. It is not clear cut at all. And it is very compelling. And throughout the whole storyline, you're thinking, okay, she's a little sick. She's a little sick in the head. And then you realize, you know what? She's pretty sensible in the world that she's in. Or at least I thought. She was very compelling, easy to watch. And I'm going to put that down to Ginnifer Goodwin. She's just makes me want to watch her. I've enjoyed her in everything I've seen, even when I didn't like the shows. I've enjoyed her. Then we have in the 1984, again, that standout character is Lucy, played by Lucy Liu. And she is twice divorced, on her 3rd marriage, a socialite. They are the talk of everything. And she discovers that her husband is gay. And then things happen there as well. And at the beginning, you really think, wow, that's her character's name. Simone is just an awful person. Like, why would I care? And there's definitely some wow, but it was her story that brought me to the show, because later on you realize there's a lot of sensitivity and love there, and she does become a different person throughout this whole thing, and it's really quite wonderful, and it's definitely worth watching. And it's really fun to go from I really don't like these people to the end saying this is my favorite story, like I love where this is going. And it's very touching and poignant for that time period. And then we've got 2019, and I really don't know any of the actors in this one. I'm sure that there are people that, actors that other people know. I really don't know them. And this one is basically starts with an open marriage, poly light, I'd say, that turns into full blown poly and a throuple. And this is the one that is a little more, I don't want to say it came out of left field, but it definitely brought about some whiplash, we'll say, with the way that they were dropping things and hints along the way. One of the things that frustrates me is that they do frame the whole polyamory with the fact that the wife is bisexual, and so of course she needs both a man and a woman, which is not really the case. So I think that was, not generally the case. Some people, polyamory, that's their deal, but to say it's because they're bisexual is it is a frustrating trope that people fall into, and is not something that is part of, being bisexual does not mean that you need to be dating multiple genders at the same time. And neither does pansexual or anything else like that. That's where the poly comes in. And, if you are poly, that's a whole other story. And I wish that they would have kind of put a name on it sooner. They do say polyamory at one point because they're talking about a retreat, and they do mention the word throuple, but they keep saying open marriage. It's like, it's not really an open, I don't know. It just seemed weird to me the way that they framed it, but it's still very interesting. And the way that they all kind of interweave into one another was really good. And I think what I liked most about it is we kind of get an epilogue. We kind of see what happens afterwards. And I think that is a really nice little piece. So I'm definitely here for that. I think that this was a good series. I have no idea what season 2 is going to be about. I'm interested. Obviously it's going to be about women killing. I don't know if it's going to be in the same house. I don't know if it's going to be the same style. I don't know if they're going to come up with a different premise. I don't know who the actors are. I am keeping myself completely open. So we'll just leave that where it is. I guess if I were pairing this with something, I would have to pair it with 3 different dishes for each of the decades or the time periods. I think for the 60s, I really feel like there should be a Jell-O mold in there just because it just really seems that way. Or maybe Spam and hash with a Jell-O mold for dessert or something like that. Although pot roast really does seem to be kind of iconic there. So let's go with a little Spam and hash appetizer on probably Ritz crackers, right, with a little spray cheese, and then go right into the beef roast dinner, followed up with a Jell-O mold that has fruit cocktail in the Jell-O. That would be perfect, I think, for the 1963. And then for the 1984, what's a good one for that? I am thinking, because they're so hoity-toity, like and I think they end up eating it. at the country club like all the time, which to me is just so bonkers. I can't imagine. It just anyway. I have my own feelings there. But yeah, it's going to be very gimmicked, very overpriced country club food, and martinis with double the amount of gin. Yes, that is exactly where we're going here. We're going to have double martinis with overpriced country club food. And I'm just going to make it nondescript because it's country club food. Like, who cares? I don't know what chicken piccata is. That a country club? I don't even know. I just know that it's going to be dry and you're paying way too much for it. And then 2019, we are going to be making that one. Yeah, very much. It's going to be the homemade ziti and pasta and lasagna or whatever it is. It's going to be homemade because there's a lot of that. Delicious soups and stews, followed up with pie. And if you've seen the series, you know why the pie. So yeah, we'll definitely kind of have something different. Although really, I feel like now that I'm thinking about, wait, I'm going to go back on my 2019 because I'm not going to pull something from it. I'm going to say it's a sushi bagel. That's it. We're going to make it a sushi bagel followed by pie because we have to have the pie from this series. But a sushi bagel because you've got multiple things pushed together. Like, you can't decide on one thing. And when I say a sushi bagel, what they look like is the bagel is made out of rice and then the sushi's wrapped around it. But yeah, sushi, bagels, and burritos. There you go. Because you can't make one choice. You got to have everything. And then of course we're going to have pie afterwards because it has nothing to do with sushi. That makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, so that's what we're going to pair that with. And yeah, so we'll see what season 2 is all about. I think that there are 2 seasons. I don't know if there's a third. Yes, I see right here. It says the series was renewed for a 3rd season, but in July 2022, the 3rd season was scrapped before production could begin. That is a shame. I am not a big true crime person, but I do love a good satire of it, and I do love a good fictionalization in that theme, especially if there's a little bit of comedy there. Like, this goes with the Only Murders in the Building. And I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast. I should have made an episode. I will mention it. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future. But it is a podcast, and it's called Women Talking About Murder. And it's from an improv podcast series that each season it's a different theme. But the latest theme was a true crime podcast, and it is hysterical. But yeah, so that's where I get on. It's kind of like the Jane Austen stuff. I don't like actual Jane Austen, but I love things that are poking fun at Jane Austen, interpretations of Jane Austen, throwing in zombies at Jane Austen, things like that. That's where I get in.
Nutty Bites is produced by Nimlas Studios under a Creative Commons Attribution No Commercial Non-Derivatives 3.0 International License. That means you can't change it without my permission. You can share it and send it to your friends. Just link back to me, my site, and everything. We live at nimlas.org, which has links to everything social media, including facebook.com/group/nuttybites and patreon.com/nukejoss, or call 347-NUTTY42.